me on target. See, it takes a village. You start to see, like, you're just so happy because you see this Holy Spirit's out there going, you better hit the record button to go loud. That's it. It takes a village. I told you, start seeing, collaborate and everything. See, this is an example where Jesus said, I'm going to tell you everything you need to know right when you need to know it. And that's when I needed to know it. So that's when it came through Dyra. Okay. I used to take that kind of stuff personally. Thankfully, Jesus showed me another way. You're like grateful. I think I mentioned that. It's hilarious. I was starting to notice, you can see how, yes, you'll probably start to notice this too. You might have already noticed it, where everything someone says, like it's like a ping. You can actually notice there's like a ping off of it, like a little push out rejection. You like want to fling it out into space, get the hell, or you want to compare it, like not you really. I mean, the character. The dream figure likes to go out and I'm going to hunt, and it goes out and it goes searching. Let me see if this is true. Let me see. Let me see based on my knowledge, whether what he's saying or she's saying is true. But this is a different kind of knowing. This is hearing it, letting the bird, as we say, land in the heart. This is all we practice here. So it's different from the standpoint, we don't spend time discussing. Like, here's a concept, there's another because that will get involved in concepts. So we join to contemplate what Jesus is saying in the Course deeply and listen for his voice and his interpretation. And then as the questions come up, we just ask inside. It's a deep internal inquiry. Jesus, do I have this desire? So we can start to learn those yes, no's at first. He's with us kind of pointing out, look, here's where you're deciding that hell is heaven. We were looking at that today. It's like, Jesus, do I have a desire to try to find heaven through hell? And when he says yes, don't be surprised, because that's the whole gig of the ego. Be happy. That's a happy thing to see. Because then we can release the desire to find heaven, to seek and do not find through a personal identity. So we start with the light of infinite being, and we contemplate and we just listen inside for the voice, that inner knowing voice. You don't have to call it Jesus. But it just so happens that most of the beings who come here, for some reason, the Holy Spirit or the light within, whatever you call it, because I certainly wasn't going to call it Jesus. I wasn't on my list. I'm going to start speaking Jesus. Even when he said you're going to start speaking the Holy Spirit, that wasn't. So it wasn't like on the life bucket list or anything that I can, obviously it was, but it was below my level of awareness, even though I was like raised in Catholic school and, through 18 and had catechism and all those things, like not too much with Jesus, could relate to Mary kind of, but so we're just brought together because we can all hear that voice, whatever we want to call it, the voice for God. And now we're just listening deeply and honing it's like the tuning fork for infinite being, rather than finite denying, trying to deny that all the love, infinite love, is here. And play in consciousness, in the fragmented consciousness that says no to light. So these are great. I'm very grateful. You can send questions however you want to send them. Send us a message, email through the website, and then we'll answer them. We'll ask Jesus because we can all hear it. She says, I have a couple of questions. Say that if we get ill, topically, the coronavirus. Dun, 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 there it is again. It's good to have a fireside chat with Jesus about the coronavirus. That we are really choosing. Okay. What we're choosing is have an experience where we feel small, weak, and vulnerable. And the coronavirus being one of the bazillion different ways in every moment and every day, through desire to play in consciousness, we're going to feel limited. I can get sick. Look what's implicit in coronavirus. I can catch something from someone else. I could go to the hospital. I could die. So it's the death threat. But we're being death threatened all day long because that's the play of consciousness. We're dead every time we're angry, upset, or in state of fear. So the coronavirus is just like, it's kind of icing on the cake lately. And I can't be with anyone. See, it's separation. It's like conscious likes to play out the separation dream idea. Separate bodies, staying in their separate houses, when all is light. We can just look at the directly to see through the light of divine being. I'm asking him, is it helpful? He pointed me to the headlessway.org. And it took me a while. It's like in the slow class, where you do a pointing experiment. You point to your leg and you see that it's what you're pointing to is an object. And then you point to your shirt back like this. You go, okay. When you get up here, and you're pointed back, and you can notice that you're pointing back to something. There's something that's not an object that it's pointing to. Okay, that is just, it's good to see. That's the holy instant where you see that there's just light here. It's not an object. And as I said, it's really simple to see because my 7-year-old niece did that experiment. And I said, what do you see? All's forgiven. I mean, that just sums. That was a simple sentence, sums the whole. It's like, what are you talking about? I've been doing this course for how long? All's forgiven. Just recognize that there's light. That's very humbling, but it's good. It was good to see the simplicity of innocence, the symbol of a child, seeing how easy it is to see there are light. Now, light's here, infinite light of being. Everything's light. One thought of light is powerful enough because it's a reminder of what we are. It's not light of the sun. It's just a knowing that something is here that's infinite and limited. And you can query on that. Is it limited, the light? And you can hear that voice say, no. Well, what knows that the light's infinite? Something that's finite cannot tell that the light is infinite. How's something finite going to know it's infinite? No. Infinite. Does the light change? No, it stays the same. Now, I'm going to say this. If you feel like you cannot recognize the light, join with a brother. That's why we have the group to talk to Jesus about all the reasons why you think you can't tell that the light's here. Because they're just some doubt thoughts. And you clear those out, and you'll notice that there's a light here that's unchanging. So that's like the peak preview. So there's the contrast between infinite light, the unchanging one, and what beings call the veil. It seems to be something covering over the recognition of light. Well, how come I'm not happy or at peace? Because desires not to see light arise in the play of consciousness, the cover over job. So now we have the course that says, I cannot teach you what love is, that because you're that. He can't teach it. He can only help us unlearn the play in consciousness. It's saying, I'm not that. I am not that. Not that. Like we talk about the little fish swimming in the ocean going, anybody know where the water is? I can't find water anywhere. That's what we're doing all day long. I want to know what love is. I want you to show me. You're it. You're the totality of all that is. It's the only thing that's shared. Infinite light. Okay. That's it. Ta-da, the equal opportunity employer called God, God. It's the only, no child left behind. It's the only thing that everyone shares. So when we recognize light, you can see it's shared. You could do that little pointing experiment. What's there? Oh, there's something here that's not an object. Okay, so you make, at first we don't admit that's who we are because we don't want to know that's what we are. That's the whole consciousness, to be anything but that, and then kill that sucker. I'm going to kill the light. And as you get deeper with Jesus, the experience here is you just see how much you want to kill it. Like you just don't want to know that it's there. With every shred, every piece of energy. Because at first we start the course and we think, oh no, I don't want to kill that. Oh, then he brings you down there, and you're talking to Jesus or the light, however you do it. And you're just going, oh my gosh, I don't want to get near the light. I don't want to think the light. I don't want to see the light. And I definitely don't want my brother to be the light. Or it's okay if I'm the light and I don't have a body. But I remember thinking, but my brother better have a body. That's like too weird for them not to be a body. So anyway, I don't know how we're getting, I guess this is where Jesus is going tonight. So, okay, so she's asking, we're going into the coronavirus. Starting with the light is helpful. Okay. Always start with the light. That's what you are, even if we don't want to admit it. Even if we definitely want to deny it, that the light's here. Like, I do not want to see, I wrote a whole diatribe about it. I wrote to Jackie at Living Miracles, man, because I could see it. They were like seeing this openings of seeing, and other beings will talk about it too. And satsang, yeah, I can see there's really nothing here and it's all the same. This is wonderful. And then the next week they're in satsang going, what happened? Because there's still desires below the level of awareness to go, no, I'm not that. So now we have the one who knows, Jesus, is going to coach us down there in the subconscious mind to say, okay, guys, let's look what's in those subconscious catacombs that says NO to light. So we start with light because the answers are in the light. They're the light, infinite light of being. Like if you ask a question like, is the light limited? And you just start listening for that voice that tells you, you just hear it. And you can see that in satsang with Muji. He'd go, okay, so is it limited? And you got, 600 or 700 people in a room going, no, it's not limited. Okay. Does it know what time is? And you just inquire and you look in there and that light, it's like, no, it doesn't know what time is. It's timeless. Does it change? This is the voice we want to get to know, the one that says, no, that's something's here unchanging. Because we're listening to the voice that says that change is our identity. No, we're the unchanging one. We're the timeless, changeless light of divine being, the one. So when we start there in the inquiry, with however you communicate with that light, the same voice, how do you hear Jesus learn that it's a voice that tells you, that has you know that there's something here that's infinite, even if you're not willing to accept it's you. Because the play of consciousness denies that light is us. Light is us. Lights are us. The one. There's only one, and it's shared. It's the light, infinite love of being. Now, okay, the coronavirus. So here comes Mr. Coronavirus. Well, first of all, let's just ask the light. Does the light know a darn thing about the coronavirus? Does the light feel threatened by the coronavirus? Is the light going to go hide out somewhere if the coronavirus is here? No. That's how we do the light test in the light circle. We test everything with the light. Is the light running away? No. Is the light shaking in his boots? Now, what's helpful is ask Jesus the following. Jesus, do I have a desire below my level of awareness to be impacted by a thought of the coronavirus, to seem like the coronavirus actually does something? You can just listen. If he tells you, yes, you do, okay, take another look. Obviously, I have something to forgive. Forgiveness only meaning to see in the light of truth. Is that true? Because we're taking a lot of things for granted. One of them, big fat for granted, is the coronavirus right now. So we're if we get ill, first of all, and this is a consciousness heyday. This coronavirus, man, talk about having consciousness relishing something. It's relishing fear. So the slightest, see that the light of divine being, infinite light that's here, that's shared, with the thought of what does it do with the thought of a coronavirus? Does it doesn't quake, it's just peaceful. So if there's a single twitch with the thought of the coronavirus, that is a desire to deny light, because the light doesn't twitch. The light doesn't, because we're divine being. We're the one. Now, there's no words for it, but we can recognize the holy instant the light's here. So we do the light test. Now, so consciousness is a hypochondriac. The whole construction of consciousness is to play like there's other and pretend like death is real. That's what consciousness is for. I want to pretend like I'm little and limited. So it looks for experience. It loves experience. It loves objective experience. Something's happening to a me. So Donna, here comes the coronavirus. Gonna get me. And then we have symptoms. And what does consciousness do? It goes, I have symptoms and I'm sick because I have the coronavirus. No, you have a temperature because you have a desire for experience of a high temperature. You can ask Jesus, if a temperature shows up, it's because I have a desire for that experience. So the good news is that when you're a course student committed to forgiveness, you can sit down and have a talk with Jesus about it and have him show you all the places in the subconscious mind where you believe a coronavirus is real, or it can do something to you, or that you're subject to it. And just notice where you're not at peace. Watching the news, the coronavirus, no food. Jesus, do I have a desire to hear that thought and then react to it and not be at peace? That's the way. So are we watching anything on the screen and experience an upset, a little twitch? Then we go to the light and say, is that true? So it's the twitch. We're choosing to have an experience. Consciousness blows out. Like, we're not separate from consciousness. We're consciousness in a play of a dream. Consciousness is a dream state. So all we're looking at, okay, so where am I investing in an experience of dreaming of limitation rather than of infinite light of being? That's all we look at. And then forgiveness clears those desires for an experience of limitation. So I never really understand how I'm presently choosing something because I thought it was the script is written. Okay, so if this is why chapter 20 is so helpful for seeing what we're choosing. Because consciousness is a play of taking the belief that choice is a fact, that there is ability to choose things. That's dreaming. Choice is a dream, part of the dream. Because if you're infinite being, what is an infinite one need choice for? It doesn't need choice for any, because it's everything. That's why Jesus calls it choiceless awareness. Choiceless. There's no choice in it because it is everything. It's infinite love. As soon as choice is immediate desire for experience of limitation. So we're going to look at, the only choice we look at, first of all, you can ask the light, do I have the power to choose not to be light? And you're going to hear that answer come. It's a big no. You can ask the light, am I light? And hear the answer, yes. Can I ever be anything other than light? You can hear that answer too, no. You do not have a choice not to be light, like the fish. It does not have a choice not to swim in the water. It seems to have a choice. It's dreaming that it doesn't know what water is. We're dreaming that we don't know what infinite light is. It's insane, but we have to see that. He has to show it to us where we're insane and thinking that we're apart from all that is. Okay, I never really understand how I'm presently choosing. So just learn to go with Jesus and have him show in the subconscious mind with your joining partner. Show me what I'm choosing. We're choosing hell right here, right now, if we're not completely at the peace. And he'll show it to you. He'll bring it down there and say, and you'll start to see it. I really do have a desire to experience hell. I really, really want hell. At first we're going, I don't want hell. Then he brings you down there and you're going, oh my gosh, I want hell more than heaven. And that's why it becomes the experience of pain, suffering. Now, it's not for us to go out to our friends and relatives and saying, you know, you're really choosing to suffer with the coronavirus. No, because we're making it real. We don't want to make the dream real. It's a good reminder in here, Jesus, don't make the dream real. Don't engage with it. Just because the coronavirus seems to be out there, who says we have to do anything about it? You just follow that inner light. It will guide you. What do I do next? What do I do next? Otherwise, we're in a panic like I talked about before around the year 2000. Like I'm buying sacks of, I was a prepper, doing the prepper, you know, sacks of wheat berries. Organic too. They had to be organic. Big old bags of wheat berries. Can't remember what. Oh, and almonds, and you know, we ask the light. The light will inform everything. Jesus, do I have a desire to do I really relish fear? And you'll see that you like to eat it like ice cream. Really, we think it's something happening, but when you really start examining fear and pain and going down there and looking in there, and you start to see, holy smokes, I really do want this experience of pain, like badly. It's humbling, but it's happy humbling, because then you see the way out is to see through the desire. So now we're coming back. So the ego will not understand the terms the script is written. She's asking about how it says the script is written. It has to be seen in the light. Okay, from the light's perspective, to be, it's a knowing. One, the only script that's written is that we're home already. It's already happened. You can't change that the light is here. It can't be changed. Infinite light of being. Salvation's already here. So that script's not changing. What seems to change in time is the expression of consciousness, which is by its nature in a dream is moving. See, the light's not moving. Infinite nature doesn't move. Consciousness seems to move, and it arises out. It's a projection on the screen of the light, just a projection. It's being projected through the subconscious mind, the lens of the subconscious mind, which is subconscious desires. And you can see it in a new covenant. Jesus talks about the script of your experience is being written on the fly. It's like a holodeck projection on the fly, and you can talk to Jesus about it. So you hear it inside too. It's a holodeck, 3-dimensional, however many dimensions you want to add to it. With sounds and colors, a 3-dimensional blowout of all the subconscious desires and beliefs. You can ask Jesus that right now. So you can have a direct knowing of that. Jesus, is this the subconscious that's coming out of the subconscious mind, everything I see? So the script is that we're given everything a meaning too, part of that, right? Now, out of all the subconscious beliefs and desires, we're investing in the dream. So the world's model of consciousness is that there's consciousness and there's a little me in there. And there's a world and a universe and all that stuff out there happens to me. But if you spend time with the light in revelatory experience, and Jesus is saying it directly in A Course in Miracles, and it becomes your direct experience, it's blowing out of consciousness. And then through the desire, consciousness pretends like it's a little body. Instead of being the light, it pretends like a little body with all these things impacting, so it can play limitation game. Can play that little game like, I'm a limited. No, you're infinite by nature. Your nature is infinite nature. So as the desires are cleared out, we're not writing a script anymore with subconscious desires to experience hell in a dream. That's why he talks about with forgiveness, you convert to the happy dream, the peaceful dream, the loving dream, the dream of infinite love. It's the dream and appearance is there, but we're not going around pinging off of every little cockroach and every little twitch and every little coronavirus story that comes up. You know. So just is in heaven. Okay. Also, if we are now in heaven watching, how is this possible? Are we changing the script? Well, again, you have to go to the light for that answer. The light will inform you from the inside. At the level of absolute reality of infinite light, see if there's a script in infinite light. There's no script in infinite light because it doesn't have one. It just is. So at the level of absolute reality of divine being, abstract light, no, there's no script whatsoever. Within consciousness, consciousness is a script that's running based on subconscious desire to have an experience of dreaming. And as the desires fall away, then in the consciousness, we're not so involved in that experience of limitation. We're not swept away by our own delusion, the delusion that this dream, this holodeck is real. By the that's what we don't want to see. That's the holodeck. If you've ever seen the movie 13th Floor, great movie for that. For seeing the holodeck, seeing how it's a little play of the holodeck. A couple of good Star Trek episodes too. There's so many good things we can watch. So So, so then I want to come down because there was more that came after that. Okay. So again, it's something that you want to marinate with Jesus with the light. The answers, all the revelatory experiences come, and Jesus says, I can hear him say, this is a good thing to do, is just marinate as light. Like Muji says, marinate as light. That means drop all thoughts, feeling, and emotion and just be present with what's here beyond thoughts, the unborn nature of being. And then revelation has spaciousness to arise in that when we're not investing and playing on the little thought Ferris wheels in there. But at first, that can be very difficult to do with an untrained mind because we're so used to, as I've talked about, the beehive, like this beehive of thoughts, because the engine for thought are desires, the desired experience. So the beehive, that's a desired experience. We have to see that. It's a distraction from looking to see that we really like this experience of being little tiny subject to death object thing. As we call it, congeal like jello. And it's helpful when Jesus brings you down there and you realize, oh, I really do want to be limited. I want to have that experience of limitation more than I'd want to have peace of God, peace of infinite. So we come down to, since she said something else. Okay, I'm grateful you had answered her. Now, just remember, we're really focusing on contemplation in this group and asking questions. I still don't get how we can make the script different. The script is an appearance based on subconscious desires. So as the release to the miracle, it appears that the moving changes. But what really ceases is we stay with the unmoving nature of divine being instead of getting involved in this play of fear and, getting all involved in that. We're just peaceful and calm and happy. So regardless of what the appearances are, what's appearing in form, coronavirus today, something else tomorrow, if you notice, it's always something. See, then you're just at peace. Okay, let it come. So we're not trying to make a different script. We're trying to forgive all the subconscious desires that seem to make the script that makes us feel like little limited avatars. To release the idea that the Son of God is beholding to any script. That pure light's never, if we look with the light, we can see we're never subject to that. From the metaphysics of the Course, we are in heaven. We're heaven itself, beyond heaven, actually. Light is beyond heaven. You can ask Jesus, Jesus, is the light beyond heaven? Heaven, what happens with heaven is it's a conceptual idea. We all have like our own little out picturing in the play of consciousness. Heaven's, the little Mai Tai umbrella drink on the beach, that's a heaven. No, heaven is infinite, supreme happiness as it is, perfect, whole, and complete. To the ego, that sounds, I remember Muji would talk about it. He'd go to the ego, that sounds boring. That's what the ego calls supreme happiness, boring. Supreme happiness is what is. But as long as that energy of desire and feeling small is there and wanting to do that, we can't experience supreme happiness. And you'll see that supreme happiness is not changed by any script that might happen to be written. The world appeared because of the tiny mad idea. It was over at the same time. So, from what I understand, the script is written, mean, as you say, we're already awake. It's over, done, complete. So, if the dream is over, then how can we change it when watch is already what has already been? We're not trying to change it. We're ceasing to get involved in it by releasing the desire to play the avatar role. Ceasing to make our happiness about what appears in form. Happiness is our identity, who we are, what is love, light. We're pure light, abstract light. Pretending through a dreaming that we're little avatar people. So we change it. So if the dream is over, how can we change it when we're already watching what's already been? That's a good question. We can only change our mind, no longer engage in the dream, and be peaceful regardless of what the dream looks like. Now, if catching a virus written in the script, I'm asking Jesus about that. Catching a virus. It's not written in the script. If it appears because there's a desire for an experience of limitation that seems to, and death, that seems to show up with the name called coronavirus. We have to see with looking with Jesus. Again, chapter 20 is a great place to start that it's a desired experience appearing right now in a plethora of forms within the play of consciousness. It's not just the coronavirus, it's every time we twitch. Every time it seems like if a door slams and you jump, that is pretending that you're an object impacted by something in form. Now that seems really far-fetched into a personal identity. But as we go deeper with Jesus and wash out this desire for an experience that something out there is doing something to us, you'll see that you'll decondition. It's a deconditioning. We're no longer caught in this play of consciousness, caught in the untrue. If I choose sickness, then isn't it there to help me wake up by forgiving the concept? You can say it that way. Because every moment is an opportunity to be at peace by seeing where we're denying that we're peace itself. Peace isn't something that happens because something happens. Peace is identity. Happiness is identity. We are that. But the ego creates an idea called peace and puts an if then in front of it in a when. I will be peaceful when this happens. I will be peaceful if this happens. If I don't get the coronavirus, I'll be. The only happiness is seeing what's here. The light is untouched by time and space or coronavirus. It doesn't matter. That if there's one twitch with the thought of coronavirus, that is a denial of the infinite light. The script is written, I'm talking, it's just merely a way of saying it's never happened. Nothing is happening. That's what we have to admit. Ego doesn't want it. It likes things happening, so it's not going to admit that. We can only seek not to change the world, change the mind. Be willing to see what's true so that the mind changes about what we think the world is. The ego likes to get hold of that script is written line. It gets hold of everything in the Course of Miracles. It's always an opportunity for Jesus' interpretation. Remember, he says, let me interpret this for you. You cannot interpret it. The ego mind cannot interpret script as written. It's a way of saying there's no place to go but home. That's a mask in Jesus, yes. It's to bring comfort. It's not, because the ego is going to go, oh, that means I can change. I can do something. See, the I's going to jump in. No, it's saying you are home. Just cease to deny that you are. You're light, and just cease to deny that you're light. Your infinite love right now. If I choose sickness, isn't it there to help me wake up by forgiving? Let's just put it this way. If you get sick, it can be you get sick. It's a desire for an experiential limitation. It's a projection on the body to avoid looking deeply, to see that the body is not real. That's direct. All forms of sickness are magic. They're a projection. But it's an opportunity that the spirit can use so you can have a conversation and go, is this real? What are the underlying subconscious beliefs that are generating this experience of pain? Do I relish this thick sickness experience? And you'll see underneath it, if you really look, you'll start to see with Jesus exactly what he says. It's relished. It's a relished experience. It loves it. Ego loves that. Loves to, it's like a dog that likes to play dead. It just wants to play that game in consciousness. To remember I'm dreaming. Okay, so if I choose sickness, then isn't it there to help me wake up? You don't have to get sick to wake up. See, do we have to get sick 1 minute to see that there's infinite light here? There can be a belief in the subconscious mind that we have to get sick to wake up, but it won't be true. That would be a desired experience to try to win God through sickness. Light's here right now. You don't have to do anything to recognize light. It's here. We don't have to take a pill. We don't have to go to the mountaintop. It's here. Then all we have to do is honesty of God. Admit there's light. Admit, no, I don't want to be that. And ask for a miracle. Okay, Jesus, clearly I don't want to be light. Will you help me out and see it? Isn't it there to help me wake up by forgiving the concept of sickness? I just hear it. The spirit can use it, but it's not necessary. It's not here to help you. It's an expression of consciousness to deny divine light. But the spirit, we can go and look and see, is any of that expression and consciousness true? It's not to judge it in anyone. The light doesn't judge anything. It's only for us to look inside and just look, okay, is there a belief? To remember I'm dreaming and that nothing has gone wrong, I'm innocent. It can be used that way. If I become well, that was also in the script. Jesus, no, I wouldn't get involved in the script in that way. He's focusing on two things right now, at least for here. One, that you're light. Any twitch is a no to light that's already here. It's an investment in a personal identity. And forgive. See those, you just stay with that. Stay with the light, see where you divine light, forgive, and just really focus just on that. Do I have a twitch over the coronavirus? if I don't get well, then that's all okay. There is seeming death in the script for us all. This feels good to be clear on, so I'm going to ask Jesus. No, there's not. Death for us all. No, there isn't. There's a movie that seems like someone dying, but no one's dying. Seeming death in the script. No, there isn't. There's only life. There's a dream that will stop, but no one dies. Death is a concept. Death is a concept. Muji has diabetes. Raman, I think, had cancer as all part of the script. No. It's a reflection of desired experience. Jesus says, and that's what sets the course apart. Your body can be completely healthy, completely. It's your inheritance. Who says that? Jesus is not saying that's required for waking up. It may be an appearance, but it's a subconscious desire in that expression. That the place is not to look at in the out picturing of what Ramana looked like or what Muji looks. The place is to look here and say, Jesus, do I have any subconscious desires for that kind of experience? If I do, can I clear them through forgiveness? Those are like little reflections to try to get us to believe that there's bodies out there and that there's illness and that illness is real. It's not that's not what the script is. It's not the script that you're going to get sick and die, or whatever's predetermined is going to happen. That's not what Jesus is. At least not what he's saying here. They woke up, don't identify with illness, even though the body has it. Now I may have the metaphysics wrong, so I'm very open to correction, to look forward to hearing anything you have to add. See that you're light first and that you can't die. That's helpful. That the light never dies. That will give some breathing room to some of these things. And then see with Jesus how much we desire these fear ideas, to look outside the form, to try to prove that death is real. How that hunting mechanism in consciousness to go find, how am I going to die? No, it's a trick that you're dying in a body. We're dead right now. Dead to light, dead to infinite light of being, which is here. See that the light is here now. And then see with Jesus in the subconscious mind where we want to say no to infinite light of being, that it's impossible to die. It just can't happen. You don't have a choice. You do not die. But you can pretend and dream that you do and have a dream that the body's going to keel over and that's the end of you. But in truth, if you just look and see that death is not real. Death is a concept. Being born is a concept. Those are all ideas arising in a dream. And who can be happy watching the time tick away till his body keels over? Rather than just be timeless, choiceless awareness, just kind of watch a dream. Isn't that interesting? Expressing as divine being infinite love, happiness, joy, and peace, unconcerned about the script or just loves here. That sounds like happiness. And then just take the thoughts. When Jesus gives you a concept, that's not a concept. He comes from beyond concepts, but a phrase like the script is written. We go to him like this and we say, Jesus, explain that to me. And then sit and type. or sit, you can have a joining session. Let's have a joining session and hear what Jesus tells us right here, right now about the script is written. That's the way to do it. Like if the conceptual mind tries to get hold of that, it's going to make it mush. But if we join and then just go, okay, Jesus, tell me about that. Or like every line in a new covenant, you can do it with the course, you can do it. Once you start talking to the light, you can read any text. It won't matter. You can read a phone book and he'll, fill you in. He'll tell you it's true. You'll be able to look at anything and know whether it's helpful, because that's the only question. Is this helpful for waking up? And I'm asking him right now, is it helpful to spend a lot of time in concern with the term, the script is written? And I can hear him saying, no, it's not right now, right this minute. He's saying, for this time, your light, honesty of God is what's most helpful. Chapter 20, joining with a partner to go through chapter 20. Joining. That's what he's saying here. That's happiness. It keeps it really simple. It keeps it really, really simple. And then he'll answer all the questions. And then we'll have other joining sessions where we come together to listen to that voice that tells us we're infinite and then speak it. Practice listening and speaking so that it becomes a direct experience. That's the only voice coming out of the infinite and expressing. It's not trying to convince anyone. It's not changing anybody's mind. It just is. It's just love expressing. We don't, it doesn't worry about, does the light worry about what somebody else is thinking or what our words are going to do? It doesn't have those kinds of concerns. It's just love. That's what we are. Be only love, for that is what you are. So thank you, Anne, for that question. Our only function is just to see, am I at peace right now? And if I'm not, okay, I desire this experience of not being at peace. Will you help me change my mind? And then we can join together. To see what's true. Love's here. And Jesus is available to answer every question that we might have about this. Thank you. All love. I'll give you the view. Everybody here.
Hi, Stephen.
Yeah, we love you, Stephen. We love all of you. Thank you for coming.
We all got kissed that time.